have to receive this message as it is without all the evidence that you would expect to have. You have to accept this message at face value and move forward. You just have to accept the authority of this message and move on. And Adventists, they repel at that. Doesn't that sound Catholic?
So if he's the sin bearer and he's the sin bearer, what's going on? How can he be dealing with, all he's just doing is just putting all the sin on this person. And he's then, once he puts the sin on this person, what does he do with the person? Sorry?
What do you mean on the person?
Satan, scapegoat, he's going to put the sin on that person, and then what's he going to do to the person? He's going to kill him. And what's this story? He's going to put the sin on the person, and then what? He's going to kill him. So there's no difference between the two. So this is the eradication of sin.
Existence.
The eradication of the existence of sin. Okay? And what is this? Is this the eradication of the existence of sin? Or not?
Existence? No.
It still exists? When he died, was that the atonement?
Yeah.
I don't think it was. The atonement is the ministration of Christ. It's not his death. The death is, unless we're going to change his definition, he just pays the price. He says, I'll die for them.
Right.
The fact that he dies for them doesn't atone for you. Brother Larry.
I say the difference is that Jesus is not guilty, but Lucifer is.
Of what?
Lucifer is guilty of sin.
Can't blame him for your actions, can you?
Not my actions, but he's the one that brought sin into the world.
But he's not dying for that.
He's not dying for...
He's dying for your sins, because he's the sin bearer. The sins get transferred onto him, and those sins that get transferred onto him aren't his sins, they're yours. So he's paying your price, not his own. I know, remember this is a parable. Satan has his own problem to deal with, that's fine, he'll deal, but the symbology of the scapegoat isn't Satan, isn't Satan's personal sins, is it? It's someone else's sins that get transferred onto him, which are yours. So his... So is that scapegoat innocent?
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything wrong. So in that model, Satan hasn't done anything wrong. Satan will die for his own sin, which is not what this model's teaching. The goat hasn't done anything. He's just going to say, it's all going to get dumped on you. Was Jesus innocent? They're both innocent people. So let me ask a different question. You're a Jewish person, you're a young boy, very young, you've just been born. What's going to happen to you in 8 days? Before those 8 days happen, like 1 to 7, are you really in the family of God? Are you part of the family of God? Sister Olivine says no. What's the circumcision a symbol of? Do we all agree with that? So you get baptized when you're 8 days old. And so you're here at baptism, aren't you? And so everything after that, which is the whole sanctuary service, is what history? Is it this history or this history? I'm saying it's, if you follow through that circumcision is baptism, it's this history that's being dealt with. And what we've got...
I was going to ask now what baptism do you mean? Is it
water baptism.
like for a person literally?
Water baptism, I'm not trying to disconnect water baptism from the New Heart experience. This is the formalization of the message, is 9/11.
So you would place
Put them
it there.
together.
Okay, so you place it there. It's disregarding the fact, for example, that people got baptized in like 2008 or something.
Yeah, we've got a reform line is a template
Yep.
to get our disorganized lives and put them into order. So without having a framework to put onto your life and to adjust your life correctly, that's the purpose of the reform line, isn't it? Yep, if you want to call it blotting out, this is the blotting out that happens at baptism. Your past history is blotted out.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be... Sister Terry, because she hasn't said anything yet.
Are we 8 days old at 9/11?
In that symbology, yeah. Sister Bromman?
If we're 8 days old at 9/11, then an 8-day-old baby has no sin, so we're sinless at 9/11.
Yes. That's the whole model that the Reform Line teaches, that the sin problem gets paid by 9/11. It's all sorted out and you start in newness of life. And so after baptism, you're never allowed to sin again. Not only are you not allowed to sin again, it's impossible to sin again. The purpose of a Reform Line is to transform us. We get that? He wants us to unify on these prophetic truths, not on moral truths. different. He wants us to unify on these prophetic truths, not on moral truths. Because on moral truths, we unify with whom? The government, the state, the world, the atheists, anybody, Buddhist, anybody. On morality, we all agree. The thing that brings us together is prophecy. That's what unifies us. And if we're willing, become so absorbed in studying these messages, these truths, we will find that unity. It will engross our minds. And we've discussed at length that you've got the voice of God and you've got the voice of man. And when the Bible and Spirit prophecy talk about ceasing from man, it's not talking about ceasing from this movement. Because this movement is a symbol of God. This is the voice of God. When it says cease ye from man, it means cease ye from wrong theology, which is under the umbrella of the Omega, that you can be saved by being moral.
To you along that line of thought that you're supposed to listen to the appointed leaders in this movement. And what I'm saying by that is the appointed leaders in this movement, if they've genuinely been selected by the Lord, it's not the breath of man that's in them. That's what it says. Cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? If it's just human breath, you better cease to be listening to that. But what is the word inspired? The breath of God. If the Lord has chosen a man, he's going to put his words into his mouth, and it's not that man's breath that you're listening to.